And we are back. This has been the most amazing day to highlight the sponsors that are behind this fourth annual Christmas in July 24-hour live stream-a-thon. And not only that, but it's just a reminder of the love, like all the love and the connections and the relationships. It's just a really beautiful thing. And so we're not done yet. Okay, we are going to bring on my sis, the one that we've met several years ago at a speaking competition I didn't really know anyone at, and we have just been connected ever since. And today we are doing amazing things. And so I'm going to introduce you to my dear friend and sister, Miss Julie Lachlan Ayers, who is sponsoring through Divine Abundance. How are you?
Good, friend. It's so good to be here with you. I'm so excited. I look forward to this event every single year, and just proud to be able to be in a position to be a sponsor with you in this. I love your heart, Elena, and ever since I met you and you told me a little bit about this event and what it means to you, I'm like, I'm in, and I'm in with you for life. And I meant that. So thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love that because it does mean so much to me.
Mhm.
You know, it just really does. I look forward to it, and everybody that's a part of it on the, this coming weekend, you just feel the love, like you just feel it. So tell us, you're coming as a sponsor through Divine Abundance, and just kind of tell us what's Julie been up to, and what do you got going on right now?
Oh my goodness, so many things, Elena. As you know, Divine Abundance was a little kernel of a seed of a thought months ago, and I shared it with you. You and I were chatting, and you had told me, you thought you were going to be bringing on Prospera TV Network, and I was so excited. And I said, Elena, that's perfect, because I have this idea for a show. I've been asked for years to do a podcast, literally years. And this is a fun fact nobody knows about me. My actual background is in broadcast journalism. I actually have a degree from a really great school, the Jandoli School of Journalism at St. Bonaventure, that I've actually never used until now. So kind of excited. Feels like my life is coming full circle, and being able to offer stories of hope, offer stories of abundance, and people being able to pivot in their careers from maybe a job they were no longer aligned with to something of their own business, or being able to volunteer more, or just hearing what abundance means to others and sharing that information with our global, network, with our audience, and giving people a chance to hear different perspectives from a diverse group of people brings me tremendous joy.
That is amazing. And even just the question of, like, what does abundance mean to you? Gosh, you ask a million people that question, you're going to get a million different answers.
You are. And that's been really cool to get these different answers from my guests. I mean, you've seen a few of the shows that I've sent to you so far for editing, but I have even more people in the pipeline. And it's been just fascinating to get these different perspectives of what abundance is to different people.
So what stirs in you that makes you so passionate about getting this message out?
Because I was you. I was the everyday person, 6, 7. It's been, gosh, it's going on 8 years now, Elena. It's like, I feel like time is just clipping by quick. But about 8 years ago, I was in what I would call like a stuck paradigm in my brain, where I felt like I was in a position where I couldn't make a change. I actually convinced myself that I was kind of stuck. I had recently gotten divorced. It was really challenging. Took 3 years to get through that process.
That's a long time.
It was
That's a
long. It was a long time.
yeah, 3
And
years to go
it
through
was
that.
it
That's a
was
long time.
really challenging, because we owned a lot of property and assets and things together, jointly held. So it was complicated to unwind that. And then for me to think of starting over again on my own, and what would that look like? And I'm kind of, I feel like I'm pretty savvy and fairly intelligent, but I'll be honest with you, Elena, when I first started out, I kind of almost forgot that I was going from a 2 income household to a 1 income household. And I just went through all these changes and all these metamorphoses. And I was in a position where I was working on the road. My son was very small, and it was very, very hard. And this chapter is in the book that you helped us write, which is Surrender to Rise, the Queen's Edition. I talk about this segment of my life: a trip to the airport on my son's birthday, my father and mother helping me that day. I had to go to Texas because it was part of my territory, part of what I did as an independent consultant. And my dad just turning to me on that day with tears in his eyes and saying, "My friend, it's time for a change." And he lit the spark in me to consider starting my own business. And
Wow.
I'm forever grateful for my dad for that conversation. And he said, "Look to me as the example." I was in big corporate for 30 years. I left. And in those 10 years, I've never been more happy or fulfilled running my own consulting company. And he's like, "You're younger than I am, more ambitious than I am, smarter than I am." I'm like, "Time out. I'm definitely not smarter than you." But he just encouraged me. And he's like, I said, "Dad, I don't think I can go work locally for anybody and make the kind of money that I make currently, working for the big corporation that I was working for." And he's like, "I agree. You're going to have to start your own business." He's like, "It's going to take time. And you know what? It won't happen overnight, Julie. You won't be able to live off this business for probably 2 to 3 years." I mean, he was very honest with me, and gave me a lot of good financial and business direction that I already kind of had because I was actually helping other large scale business owners. That's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "You know what, Pop, you're right." And I thought about it all the way to Texas and all the way back. And then when I got home, I decided it was time to make a major change, to pivot out of big corporate and into my own business. And I founded Breathe Capital Planning with my now business partner, Noah. And we also offer business consulting and personal financial planning for people that are reestablishing after divorce, traumatic loss, losing a spouse. We also
those are some big life transitions for sure.
Well, you're not kidding, Alina. Your whole life just gets turned upside down. I know you know it, your own personal story of what you went through. And I feel called to do this work. It sounds a little hokey or a little funny to some people, but I felt like it was a calling on my life, and so much so that I continued to invest in it and put more dollars behind it. And recently just became accredited through the CDC Center for Divorce coaching, and I am actually a coach. So
congratulations.
Divorce coaching. So being able to offer other services and other componentry that can actually help people through that process is my passion. Divine Abundance is in the streaming show is really about mindset, and we can't move forward unless we check our mindsets, right? Like, I could be the best financial person walking the planet, but if I'm dealing with a client that has a self-limiting belief, I really have to help them unpack that so that we can put that new thinking process in place to help them achieve their goals.
Yeah, it's kind of like they can take information in, but it's not going to go anywhere or do anything until they get out of that space, until they break through. So circling back real quick, how much of a blessing to have a parent or parents that believed in that entrepreneurship journey and to go that route, because most times when we meet people in the space, they're recommended to play it safe and to just stay small and just, do this simple thing. So gosh, like what a blessing that was to come from that environment that said, go for it.
Yeah. And I think he probably, maybe if it was 10 years prior, would have said, don't leave that big job with your stock options and your corporate benefits and all those things, because that's what he had built his whole career on. He was mega successful, like way past anything that I've ever done. Like he was a corporate vice president for a major company. But I think because he had the perspective, he came from entrepreneurs. His father was a businessman, and my other grandfather on my mom's side, her father owned a construction company. So it all was entrepreneurial. Like I was surrounded by that. And I saw that as a young child. Like I remember going in the truck with my grandfather and working with one grandfather on his business. And then I would spend time with my other grandparents, and I'd go to his shop and I'd see him running these big crews, and he did roadway construction. It was very intense. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. Like my grandparents are kind of cool people, And so I learned a lot. I learned a lot about, stick-to-itiveness, not giving up on yourself. Times will be hard, but you can do it. Like that's the message that I collectively got from not only my mother and father, but the other people in your community that help raise you, your external family, whether it was my aunts, my uncles, my grandparents. Like I had a lot of people in that space. As I look back on it and reflect, like, wow, like I kind of took it for granted that not everybody has that experience. Now, my mother was nervous. I won't pretend she wasn't. She was a little nervous because I was a single parent at the time with my own house and 2 cars and a child to take care of. So she was a little bit like, "Oh, are you sure?"
And you bring up a point, the support and the community and all of that was surrounding you and your family. And I just have to bring up, because of what we have built within each other, and now our like circle getting a little bigger, but so solid of what we're building here. How has, because I know what it's done for me, so I'm actually curious as to what that's done for you, to know that we've got this like sisterhood, that we are locking arms, and that we're all different, but no matter what, we don't fear us not being there for each other. How much has community
I feel like
you?
I feel like you and I really got aligned with the idea of we can go faster and greater together through collaboration versus competition. And I believe you come from a spirit of that, Elena, and that's why you're going to continue to be super successful. I believe that in every fiber of my being. I have a lot of affiliations and different business ventures that I'm in the middle of with other women. And I love to be that supporter on that team. Just like I don't always have to play the front role. And I think a lot of people assume that that's always the role that I play, because I've always done it for so many years. But to be honest with you, I've told you before, I like to be behind the scenes. And I think you've seen that. I love to be, your confidant, your person that you can count on for a real honest answer. And I feel like you've done the same for me. We have amazing people like Allegra in our space.
Which she happens to be on here. She says, Julie is amazing, and she changed my life by sharing her story. She is so supportive, like you, Elena. So just amazing.
I mean, and Tish Ross, just amazing people. I know that if I was going through something or even had a question or a challenge that was happening in my life, that I could reach out to any one of you and you're going to show up for me. Yeah. And so I feel super, super blessed to have that in my life. It's been a game changer.
Yeah. And I love that. And you bring up a point that I think is really important for others to grasp. And like in our space of leadership, of building, of going, we also know that sometimes we lead and that sometimes we follow. like, you know, where you are in whatever circumstance. Because I remember, I think I'm trying to think of who was in our group that said we need to like do this next thing, and I'm like, I'm all in, but you guys plan it. Like, let me be in the background of that, and I don't want to lead. Like, let me like help you guys lead. So I think that that's a beautiful thing when you can respect each other's ideas, but also realize, like, this one I don't want to be in front. Like, you guys go, but I'm going to support it 100% and come along. You know,
exactly.
Yeah.
And I do see, you know, each one of us supporting the other in a very unique way, which you don't always see everywhere.
Yep. So with this new the divorce coaching,
Yes.
the new licensing or certification that you've gotten, what do you see yourself doing with that?
Well, I am just about to do something really, really big that I can't announce yet. But I am in the midst of collaborating with someone else on this, and we are going to be offering it to working with lawyers and also corporations
Nice.
to provide this on a very large scale.
Nice.
So we're really excited about that.
Now,
And
when you think of working with divorce, do you see that it's more common for women to come forward for this type of coaching, or do you see men coming forward for this
I
type of
see
help as
both.
well?
I see both. There was men and women in my program. I met some great guys that went through the program with us and got certified as well. We have some great guys on the team that we're building to coach people. And I believe that anybody could benefit from it because it can be traumatic. Let's be honest. It's a big life change. And when you go through a big life change, try to rally as many resources around you as you can. As I look back at my divorce, I wish I had had a coach. I really do. And that's part of the reason that I went and got certified. I wanted to have a deeper understanding. Even if I decided not to do anything with it, just by me having a deeper understanding actually would help me in my financial business coaching our clients. So
Yeah.
I was like, you know, I'm all in,
Yeah.
even if this doesn't turn into a business opportunity, if it's just investment into myself to help others, that's tremendous as well, especially since our company specializes in people reestablishing after divorce, traumatic loss, and business owners specifically.
Which I think that is huge. I mean, you know, I come from divorce, but then also death, like
Yeah.
losing my spouse. So coming from both angles of it, it's a hot mess all around anyway. And so even just going back, like you said, going back and thinking of that time of divorce, I don't even think I knew what coaching was back then. You
Right.
know, I don't even think that I knew if it even existed, or who do you
Exactly.
even go to help with these answers. So the work that you are stepping into is life changing.
Mhm.
It's a legacy changing, because you're going to be helping people through one of the hardest times of their life. But
Because
not only
let's face it, Elaine, if we can stay in our wise mind in the most emotional time of our life, we will come out better. We'll
yes,
be better for it, and we'll be better parents to our children. And really at the end of the day, that's the resource. Those are the people you want to protect the most in that process,
yes,
yourself included.
yeah,
And you want to have as much empathy that you can muster for your soon to be significant other, honestly, because sometimes it just doesn't work. It just isn't a fit for people, and that's okay. You know, you're better off if it isn't at an impasse, if there is no way to negotiate to move forward, you know, if
yeah.
it's just really challenging and painful and everybody's miserable, you know, being brave enough to step into that decision. It's not an easy decision. It
No.
took me a long time to make that decision. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Oh, we got Spencer on here saying, yes, Julie, let's go.
Hey, friends.
It's Spencer's birthday today, so we give
Happy
him a
birthday,
happy birthday.
Spencer.
So for Divine Abundance, as Divine Abundance has been a sponsor, well, but you
Mhm.
wanted it under, you know, Divine Abundance. What do you hope to? What's the impact that you're hoping to bring through your show?
Awareness. Awareness, Elena, that you're not stuck. You are not in this, you are not your problems. Like, we become enmeshed with our problems sometimes, and that enmeshment leads us to believe that, like, silly things like, I just can't lose weight. I don't know why. It's me. It's just me. No, that's just something you're telling yourself. Or I'm just not good with money. Like, it's just not who I am. No, I call timeout. I call BS on that. And you can create a space between you and your issue, enough to give you some latitude and some skills to learn how to overcome these paradigms or these thinking loops that we get into, and we ruminate over things and we think, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. And we refuse to take action because we get stuck in the thinking loop because we've convinced ourselves that we can't get out of it. That's just some BS we tell ourselves.
Yes. It really is. And I love the fact that I remember, I'm trying to think, I think it was Danny Johnson. I don't know if you know who Danny Johnson is, but there was a time where she brought up the fact where somebody who says, well, that's just not how I am, or that's just something, and she's like, do you want to stay that way?
Right.
Because you can change it. And so I love the way that you explain it. Like, you're the first one that I've heard explain that you can create that space, disconnect from it, so you can actually see it from a different perspective. Because don't they say, like, when you're sitting in the bottle, you can't read the label?
You can't.
So you actually, by you saying that is huge, because you're creating that space to give a new perspective over the thing that you think you can't get out of. So I love that. I love that.
I have different practitioners that are lined up that, today we had Allegra on, and she talked about her healing that she's personally experienced and how she's helped heal others through her story and through her movement that she does. Like, there's so many cool people. Michael Faber's coming up shortly. He's amazing. Love the Unleashed. I have a divorce coach that I interviewed. That was an amazing conversation. And I have another couple of, internationally recognized published authors that are coming on that I'm super excited about. Nice. That have large businesses that are international and doing really amazing stuff. Co-wrote a book with Tony Robbins. So I'm very excited about some of my future guests that are in the hopper coming up. And for them to talk about their perspective, what's their story, what have they learned, take that learning to help others. Yeah. The greatest gift that we can give others is to take the pain that we've gone through and transmute that pain by helping others. And I know you practice that. I practice that.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And the other thing on that is when you see people that have achieved these sorts of things, but then you bring them in this close-knit environment, you realize that they're just everyday people too. They got the, it's like somewhere along the way, we think people have come out over here on this like pedestal, but you realize
evolved to some type of different being, and you're like, oh, they're a person.
Yeah. It's like, nope, we got it too. So I love that you're bringing that into your show. And as we get ready to talk, wrap up and get ready for this weekend, the 24-hour Stream-a-thon, I've been leaving the sponsor spotlight by giving each one of you an opportunity to ask me anything you want. And this has been so fun. Not only has it been so fun because it's like, wow, you really wanted, you've always wondered that, but it just lets people get to know me on a different level because they only see me like doing this stuff all the time. So what question do you got for me today?
So Elena, as you think about the totality of your life, what was the one thing that you've overcome that you didn't think you could?
I would actually have to say asking my own sons for forgiveness.
Wow.
Wow. Yes. It, in fact, Daryl talked about self-forgiveness, and how sometimes our own forgiveness is the most difficult. But when you've made a decision and it really wasn't the best one, and it negatively impacted your own children.
Yes.
And you come out years later wondering, where has my head been buried like all this time?
Yeah.
and you look across the table and you see your own children struggling,
Mm-hmm.
but you also realize it's in part of your doing, and having the courage to sit face to face and own it and ask for forgiveness. I would have to say that will probably be the one thing that was the most difficult, in this journey so far.
Elena, thank you for being so vulnerable. That is a big thing. And you're blessed to have the two amazing young sons that you do. They're wonderful. And I know that they had already probably forgiven you before you even asked for it.
Yep.
So,
yep. So that was a big one. And I think, it's realizing that they are human beings in their own right. And even as parents, we can screw it up sometimes.
100%. 100%. My son told me the other day, he's like, Mom, you've made mistakes too.
You're like, wait, what?
I'm like, who, me? I'm like, I don't know, you got the wrong parent. And he's like, Mom, we all make mistakes, but it's okay. He's like, I love you regardless, and it's like, wow, it's like the child parenting the parent,
Yes.
It comes full circle. And you and I are raising young men, so they're at a different stage in life, and it's pretty.
And
pretty
this
cool.
stage is really cool because you can really see the good job you've done in the beautiful young men that they're becoming.
Yeah.
But to have difficult conversations, like we are able to sit across the table and have honest, difficult conversations. And I'm like, you're going to be all right. Whatever you choose to do in your life down the road, you're going to be all right because you've actually been equipped with the good, the bad, and everything in between. So I love it.
Elena, I have a word for these young men that I think is critical. And at such a young age, I realize my son has this, and it's self-awareness. Like understanding his role in his entire life. Like, how did my actions take me to where I am today? Like, he's very clear. And like the big thing that my father taught me and my brother, like, and I'm grateful for it, it was radical responsibility. There's nobody coming to save you, sis.
Yep. Sink or swim.
My dad let us know, like, you're on your own. Like, you're in charge of your family now. This is your time. And I'm grateful for that because we had parents that could have bailed us out. You know what I mean? But he was there to support as we went through tough times. But he's like, this is your life. You're the adult. And I mean, I wouldn't be who I am without that. Without that in the background. And so I'm really going to be grateful to both of my parents forever.
I love that. So Miss Sis, thank you so much for sharing your time with us this afternoon. Thank you for your sponsorship and your support and the love and all the things. And we will be here this Saturday into Sunday for the 4th annual Christmas in July Stream-a-thon. So I love you. And
love you too. Can't wait to see you Saturday, friend.
Yay. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. Thank you. Bye. All righty, folks. So it is that time. We are actually going to be taking a break, and we will be coming back in about 30 minutes. And then we have a round of sponsors that you will meet throughout the evening. Like, we are rocking and rolling. When I say this is our little prepper for the 24-hour live stream-a-thon, we've got more on the way. So we will see you back here very soon.